So we are going to have a look at this Oliver Heldens style. I'm using Ableton and I'm using the massive plugin for those bass sounds later over here. But let's start with the drumming. All the drums are inside of this drums group, and we are applying a simple DJing macro control on top of that group, with a reverb, with a repeater, and this is beat repeater, and fade to gray is a reverb and delay. So over here in this track we have main kick, a simple kick, and actually those EQs are not used. The kick sounds like a kick and it has a slight reverb over here. We use 3 different rides just to fill the break and build up. And the next ride is pitched over here, like they do in their latest track with Heldens and Zeds, I think. Over here, like always, those semitones of the transposition are pitched. There you get this rising effect, and there's a long ride over here supporting, and this one is reversed over here. I don't know, could do it, could leave it out, and a little delay on top. Over here, that's the open hi-hat actually for the second part. Very basic one. Here we have a snare. And there's a second big snare over here. So we have, we are using this element from time to time over here. Then again we have, what's this, reverse. And we have a clap over here. Simple clap sound. And we also, it's a little widened over here, and it's getting a little bit of EQing and reverb on top. And we also have a pre-clap. Together with the clap. And over here we have a swoosh kind of sound, and that's basically the drumming. So let's listen in quickly. But that's not what you came for. What you're interested in right now is like those Oliver Heldens type of bass sounds. They are down here. So I have this group in the build-up over here, and this one is actually a Piggy Bass sound. If you want to rebuild them by yourself, you can now stop your screen and capture the preset. Or you get our deep house patches. Check the description for those ones. By the way, I think we're going to make this template here available as well, so you might check the description for that one as well. So that's the Piggy Bass, and that's what it looks like. And right now on top we have a big fat reverb applied, which is applied on all the group. There's a Piggy Bass sound, there's a more rather squarey, and there's a typical Heldens Bass sound and some poly synth kind of thing. And yeah, let's listen to all of them together. And we're bringing down the reverb. We're bringing up the filter as well. Next one. Notice for this sounds pretty much like this Gecko bass or something. We are using the grain, the Digi-grain 2 actually oscillator, and we are not using much more than that. Actually, a little bit of phase modulation. That ring modulation is actually off, and then we have a filter, and it's basically done. Poly. Using the Groan analog wavetable and pulse wave over here, and also ring modulation and phase modulation on. A little bit of dimension expansion and a little bit of chorus over here. Also a little bit of EQing in there. And yeah, that's how you like, maybe you could leave out one or two of those or change them a little bit in a way you would prefer it. But it's basically how you can achieve this fat bass lead kind of sound. And this second group is actually just placed in here to support a little bit, and also to add a second note in the second part of the drop. We have another groan. This is actually a copy of the other preset I just showed you. And let's have a look in here. It's the same one as well, but lower. I know it's mono. This one is like monophonic. This one as well, but some tones higher. And this one. That's actually different. So we are using a dirty needle over here, groan 1, and smooth square in the third oscillator. So you can also stop your screen here to copy that preset, or check the description for the entire project file. And we didn't mention yet this deeper dry bass over here. It's colored. I call this one Oliver Heldens Gecko because it's pretty close to that one. And over here, yeah, that's maybe interesting as well. Over here we have a riser. That's basically a square wave over here, and a performance mode over here. And what you do is like pitch it up to 48, use the performance mode, drag it here, like drag that cross over here and go down in the pitch minus 24. Deselect all those 2 to 16 steps. Just use the first step. Put up the X fader like sync it, restart it, and put the ratio on 32/1. So you have 8 bars of rising, and then select those 2 curves over here. No, that one and that one. And in this way you're making sure this thing really rises. It rises faster if you go down over here. So we're using it in this way. And over here there's just a filler element, filling up the higher frequencies a little bit. Well, you don't really need that, but you can use it in your break. I think Heldens and Zeds that they use some vocals in there. I didn't do too much with vocals here. I just used this simple vocal thing and like dragged up all the frequencies to the high ones and put a lot of reverb on top, and then just like give a little atmosphere there. So I think, we have those two over here. We have so this one is playing the same notes like the snare roll is playing, and it's also a massive, and it's a throat scrim and sine square, but on sine, and it's also in one of our massive packages. And as you can see, the equalizer is cutting off the low end and adding a little bit of high frequencies, and also using the mid-side mode, and on the side we are adding more high frequencies, and in the low in the middle we are cutting out a little bit of the low end and putting a little bit of emphasis over here, and as well a little bit of a bigger reverb over here. Let's have quick check into this reverb. Yeah, 2.1 seconds, and stereo size is 60, dry, wet. Yeah, depends on the position of the knob. So yeah, you can also use this pretty well for DJing, because it does all those cool effects. And another element over here is this attacky bass. Just does this over here. You can also do this with massive, but I used a quick sample over here of an attacky bass. And well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and got a little bit of the sound of Oliver Heldens, and try to rebuild it yourself in your own Ableton with Massive. I think that's a good exercise. If you're too lazy or something, or you want to have this project file over here, you can check the description and download it, and also make sure to subscribe to our channel, and see you next time. Bye.